If you are someone who is always striving to do the right thing, if you care deeply and you are always giving your best and you want to live a life that is full of meaning and purpose, but you are stuck in indecision and overthinking and self-doubt, then this video is just for you. There's one important shift that you need to make, and that shift is learning how to identify your fear-based decisions and stop making fear-based decisions. If you are new to me, my name is Cheryl. I am an ex-chartered accountant and an ex-corporate team leader, and I'm a coach for determined, driven, caring, purpose-led men and women who want more out of life. More confidence, more joy, more peace, more connection, love, and understanding in their relationships, more success and accomplishment in their career, and overall more purpose, meaning, and fulfillment, but who are stuck in self-doubt, who shrink themselves, who lack confidence, who are stuck in emotional overwhelm, who don't see their own worth and value. And what I help them do is I help them build an empowered relationship and an esteemed relationship with themselves in order to become the strong and confident person that they know they are meant to become without changing who they are, so that their personality can finally start fully shining through. In this video, I'm going to cover with you what a fear-based decision actually is, some real-life examples of what fear-based decisions actually look like, whether it pertains to examples of decisions that I've made in my own life or that my clients have made. I'm going to explain to you how fear-based decisions are holding you back from the growth that you want and from your fullest potential. I'm going to explain to you why you keep making fear-based decisions and you keep staying stuck in the same cycle even though you don't want to. And then I'm going to make it clear for you about what makes a fear-based decision different to an empowered decision. So let's start off with what a fear-based decision actually is. It is a choice that you make, but a choice that is not made from alignment. What do I mean by this? I mean that when you make a fear-based choice, you are making it from a place of guilt, fear, pressure, doubt, avoidance. You're not making that choice from a place of what you truly want, what matters to you. You're not making it in alignment with your values and your dreams and your needs and your true wants. Usually there's a voice in your head that starts playing over and over like a tape when you are about to make a fear-based decision. And that voice often asks questions like, what will they think if I do this? Or what will they say if I say this? Will I be judged? Will they reject me? Will they overlook me? Will they ignore me? It's just easier to go along with it and let this slide and go with the flow. Or what if I get it wrong? How will they perceive me? What if I fail? What if they see me as being too selfish or too much or too difficult or unreasonable? Or if I'm just making a big deal out of things? And so because these voices play over and over in your mind, you end up choosing the safest decision. You don't end up doing what you truly want to do, but you fall back into comfort. And there's a problem with this. And the problem is that because you fall back into your safety net or into safety, it often comes at a cost. And that cost is the expense of your peace, of your happiness, of your growth, and of your potential. If you're wondering what real-life examples of fear-based decisions look like, you might be making a fear-based decision if, for example, you constantly take on more work projects and more work, even when your plate is full. So you might be mentally or emotionally or physically exhausted and drained, but you're constantly saying yes to more work instead of setting a boundary. And maybe you're doing this because you want to be seen as the one who delivers and the one who's capable, or you compare yourself to your peers and you want to be seen as measuring up to them. Another example is you stay quiet in meetings, even when you have something valuable to say. It doesn't only have to be meetings. Maybe it's also social gatherings. Maybe it's gatherings with your friends or your colleagues, or in any interaction where you hold back on saying how you truly feel or what you really think because you're afraid of what they will say, of other people judging you, or of other people criticizing you. Another example is you continue to show up and stay in relationships that don't serve you and that don't bring you joy, that don't meet your emotional needs, because you are afraid of not being chosen, you're afraid of being alone, you're afraid of failing. Or another example could be that you put something that you truly want to do, your heart's dream or your heart's desire or a passion, you put it on hold or you don't do it at all because you feel like you're not going to be good enough and that you may embarrass yourself. And maybe you tell yourself that you make these decisions because it's important to be respectful and it's important to be considerate and it's important to be humble. But really, when you peel back the layers of what your decisions really point towards, if you had to be honest with yourself, then it's fear. It's fear that is driving those decisions. I always tell my clients that you cannot lead your life powerfully if fear is leading your decisions. Now, you make so many decisions on any given day, whether it's a decision about what you wear or what you eat or who you interact with in the day or how you interact with them, or the partner that you've chosen for yourself, or the hobbies that you've chosen, or what you say yes to and what you say no to, or as it pertains to your home or your children or your friendships or your parents or your siblings. You're constantly making decisions, and so it's so important to understand, to analyze those decisions and understand what is the driver behind them. And the problem is that with every fear-based choice that you make, it erodes your self-trust, which means that instead of trusting yourself, you trust other people more than your own inner self. You struggle to connect to your own inner voice and your own inner wisdom. And so you seek other people's approval and acceptance. You start to doubt yourself, you doubt your value, you doubt your worth, you doubt your ability to make a sound decision. You start to make yourself small. So at times where you should be standing up straight and tall and taking up space and expanding into spaces of growth and self-improvement and progressing, you end up shrinking back and questioning yourself and staying passive instead of being assertive. And what this breeds really is resentment, because you keep saying yes to things that you want to say no to. You keep choosing other people over yourself. You keep putting other people's happiness before your own best interests. The worst part is that you know that you are capable of much more. And so maybe even your life looks good on the outside, but on the inside you may feel invisible. You may feel torn, like you're in turmoil or you're struggling. Now, you may be wondering why you keep on making fear-based choices even though you don't want to. Because if you're like any of my clients, then you are compassionate and you care a lot. You care about the trajectory of your life. You care about being empowered and being confident and standing in your own power in your own life. You are probably emotionally aware and intelligent, and you're able to reflect. And so you ask yourself, why can't I stop making these choices then if this is who I am? Because it goes against who you are. And the reason is that you have a deep desire to be seen as good, to be seen as kind and respectful and liked and approved of. And there's many ways that this could have happened, this could have developed over the course of your life. Maybe you grew up in a home where you needed to be the accommodating one, the easygoing one, the one that's not the troublemaker, to make your parents' lives more easy. Maybe you internalized the message that your voice and your opinions don't matter, that what you have to say is not as important as what other people have to say. And so you doubt yourself easily and you underestimate yourself. Maybe you have been praised your whole life for being selfless and being humble, and now the idea of showing up in a way that's different to the way that you've been brought up, in the messages that you've received about what's important in life, it feels like such a resistance to show up in a way that feels true to you but different to your family structure or your community or society. This people pleasing, these patterns that underpin these behaviors and the way that you're showing up and the fear that underpins it is not who you are. It's how you've been conditioned to be. It's how you've learned to show up. And what we can do is we can actually get to the root of these patterns, and you can start gently unlearning these patterns and start learning new ways of thinking and behaving that actually serves you, the life that you want to live, and the person that you want to become. The difference between a fear-based decision and an empowered decision is the difference between the voices that you have in your mind, the voice and what the voice is telling you. Fear-based decisions, you'll always have a voice that says something like, what do I need to do to avoid guilt, to avoid rejection, to avoid judgment? Or what do I need to do to keep everybody else happy and not upset anyone around me, even if I'm not happy? Or what's the safest choice here that won't rock the boat? Those are examples of the voice that may come up in your mind. With an empowered decision, when you're making an empowered decision, the sorts of things that the voices tell you, your internal dialogue, your self-talk, the voice that is repeating itself in your mind is something like, what aligns with my values and vision? What brings me peace and pride? What honors my truth and worth, even when it's uncomfortable? And that's the important part, is that an empowered decision is not always the easiest decision, but it is the decision that brings you back to yourself. It's the decision that gives you access to you and what you want, not focused on the external and what everybody else is saying and what everyone else wants, but on what you want. It's the decision that makes you feel proud of yourself, that feeling of pride of, I was confident in myself and I didn't have anxiety and I didn't have internal conflict, and I know when I look back I'm going to know that I made the right decision for myself because it's in alignment with who I am and what I want. And it's the decision that makes you feel proud, not because it is the perfect decision, not because everything unfolds perfectly, but because it is an honest decision and it's true to who you are. So this is the work that I do with my clients, and in our one-on-one sessions, in our private coaching container, what I help you do is I help you uncover these deep unconscious fears that have been shaping the decisions that you've been making. We break through patterns that you may be unaware of, patterns of people pleasing and perfectionism and guilt and fear and anxiety. And we build an internal foundation of self-esteem that is rooted in self-worth, in seeing your own value, and in self-confidence. And when you do this, you stop asking, what will they think? And you start asking, what do I want? What is true to me? What would I choose if I were not afraid? And then you follow through. And when you follow through, you actually start creating a life that reflects what you truly want and what you are capable of. Not a life that is reflective of fear and anxiety and settling for less than what you deserve. I want you to know that making an empowered decision is not about being selfish, it's not about being rebellious, it's not about being harsh and cutting people off and being arrogant and saying, I know better, or I'm superior, or I'm more important than you. It's about saying, I am as important as you, and I will build a relationship with myself that reflects how I want to be treated in the world and how I want to function in the world. It's about becoming the person who leads themselves from a place of self-leadership. Because you can't lead a team or your family or your children or anyone else in the world. You can't create that impact that you want to create and make the positive difference that you want to make if you cannot first lead yourself. So if this resonated with you and you want to go even deeper, then I have a 5-minute quiz that you will want to take. And when you take this quiz, Off the back of it, you will receive detailed, valuable insights. You're going to receive insights into what your specific emotional pattern is right now that is holding you back from the growth and the progress and the success that you truly want. It's going to give you an understanding of why growth has felt so hard, even though you know you are capable and you've been trying your best. And it's going to give you simple, practical steps, first steps on what you need to do in order to start seeing that growth and the progress and the traction in your life again. I hope this video was valuable for you, and I'd love to know what you are taking away from it. If you could leave that in the comments below. And with that, I will see you in the next video, and the link for the quiz will be in the description box below. Bye.